And to details, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi paid an inspection visit to Al Saloum border crossing on Wednesday, accompanied by a number of senior officials. During his visit, President el-Sisi inspected the security checkpoints at the border crossing, where he met with a number of officers and soldiers. Meanwhile, the President also met with the residents of Al Saloum and the tribe's sheikhs and elders of Matruh Governorate and held an open dialogue with them. During the meeting, President el-Sisi said that Matruh has witnessed leap in new developmental projects that aim at providing many job opportunities in the governorate. The President asserted that the state is implementing a development program in Sinai Peninsula and will establish a logistic zone in Matruh to boost the trade movement between Egypt and Libya. The head of state stressed keenness on overcoming current major economic challenges by utmost efforts from all state bodies. He said the state had succeeded in confronting many challenges during the past years, thanks to the people's will and determination. President el-Sisi further noted that the state is keen not to expose citizens to crisis. The President pointed out that there is a plan to provide water for coastal areas in Matruh and that the new Delta project will be inaugurated within few months. President el-Sisi reiterated that the state seeks to implement efficient transportation projects across the country, including the rapid train, which will pass through all areas of Western Province of Egypt. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi said on Wednesday he had received outcomes of the National Dialogue's Board of Trustees' recent meetings. The details.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has received the outcomes of the National Dialogue's Board of Trustees' recent meetings. On his formal social media account, President el-Sisi said on Wednesday those outcomes varied from legislative suggestions to executive procedures of political, economic and social axes. The head of state extended his appreciation to those who shared in preparing and forming such outcomes. He further said he would refer those outcomes to the state's specialized authorities to study and apply them within the framework of his constitutional and legislative authority. The President added that he would ask Parliament for some legislative amendments to discuss the executive and legislative mechanisms of some of those outcomes. Earlier in the day, the National Dialogue's Board of Trustees held a session to discuss the outcomes of the previous sessions before presenting them to President el-Sisi. The General Coordination of the National Dialogue, Dia Rashwan, said 13 committees out of 19 had come up with legislative and executive suggestions and recommendations. Rashwan said specialized committees had held meetings over the past period with a number of experts and specialists to lay out political, economic and social suggestions. He noted that the recommendations were being prepared for the review of the Board of Trustees before presenting them to President el-Sisi to put the final say.
Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli stressed the significance of the developing plan for river transportation, which aims at increasing its movement, decrease fuel consumption and preserving environment. The Premier's remark came during a meeting held at the government's headquarters in New Alamein City to review the river transportation development plan and upgrade of its units within the international standards and at high efficiency. In this context, the Minister of Transportation tackled the scheme of developing river ports and marinas across the River Nile and means of encouraging investments in this domain. Minister of Defense and Military Production Mohammad Zaki attended an honoring ceremony for players of sports military institutions in several international championships. During the ceremony, Zaki expressed appreciation for the achievements of the Armed Forces sons in the field of sports. The minister encouraged the players to exert the utmost efforts and achieve more successes in the coming tournaments. Libyan media